joined by Todd Woodbridge, a tennis legend from Australia who's been a world #1 for a very, very long time. And mind you, he has 22 Grand Slam titles. Thank you very much for joining us and being in India. What brings you to this country today?
Well, a couple of things, and the key one is being here for Australia Fest to promote everything Australia. It's an event that's been going on for 6 months around the country, and to be a part of that, to bring the sporting part of Australia Fest here is really great. And I'm here to talk about our country and how our two countries can interact both through business and sport.
We the Asians take a lot of pride in Australian Open because we kind of consider it to be an Asian Open as well. Also perhaps because of the weather there. But do you think that the weather is increasingly going to become a problem as time progresses?
Well, you know what? It's not going to be a problem for the Australian Open because we have 3 roofs. So when it either rains or it gets too hot, we have the ability to close the roof and players can play in those beautiful facilities. The Australian Open has always led the way in creating better courts, better facilities for players and fans. So no, I think we are very lucky.
How much longer would it be till we produce a good singles player? Will it be 10 or 15 years?
Well, I mean, the thing with tennis is it's a difficult game. If you take a look at our sport, we talk tennis about being the top 100 players. That's in the world. If you play football or other sports, a football team comprises of about 20 players per team. Right. There are thousands of footballers out there. So it is a tough game to become ranked high. But what's important in tennis is that the young kids get the opportunities to get out and play tournaments through the junior programs. I know within Asia there is plenty of opportunities for that. Even us at the Australian Open provide a wildcard playoff for all of the best Asian players that don't get into an Australian Open in direct acceptance to go to Zhuhai this year. I'll be working there. So opportunities there. So, but for Indian players, how long will it take? I don't know. How long is a piece of string?
Talking about international tennis, perhaps the biggest comeback of the year has been Novak Djokovic. He's now won 14 Grand Slam titles. Do you see him get to Roger Federer's 20?
Actually, I think he can. I did not see him coming back like he has. I thought he was in trouble. I thought that perhaps mentally he had achieved as much as he felt like he could, and it turns out that that wasn't the case. Winning the last 2 Grand Slams as well as he did, he was by far the best player in both of those, at the Wimbledon and the US Open. He can really, I think, catch him. Now it's going to be hard. He needs to win, 2 next year as well, but that's quite possible.
You don't see him satiated as yet?
No, I think there's a big challenge for him to go after Nadal and Federer's records.
Talking about Federer, how much longer do you see him go? And would you say that he is going to end as being the greatest?
Well, I think he would like to get to the next Olympics, so it's another couple of years. He'd be 39 by then, which would be an extraordinary performance to be able to play at that highest level and still be winning by then. I can't see him going past that. So, I mean, we may have him for 2 more years. We'd be very lucky if that were the case.
Women's tennis, on the other hand, has essentially been about Serena Williams, and now she's pushing towards Margaret Court's type, a number of wins of 24. How long do you see Serena will now take to get there?
Well, it's not as easy as we thought. I mean, she's done incredibly well to make 2 finals since the birth of her baby. But the reality is, how long does she want to stay out there? If she wants to stay out there for another 2 or 3 years, she's going to pass it. She's going to get fitter and stronger in the next 12 months. And I think she can get there. But what interested me in the last 2 finals of Wimbledon and the US Open was that perhaps she got a little nervous and she had a bit of difficulty in those finals. Right. But that just means she's human. Stop now.
So there was a big controversy at the end of the US Open final, and Serena made the news for all wrong reasons. Whose side were you on the fight, Carlos Ramos or Serena Williams?
That's a loaded question, that one. You know what? I've been a player and I felt Serena's angst, and I'm a commentator now, and if you look at the processes that are in place, The umpire did what he had to do. But having been in the situations and frustrations of being involved on court, I know how Serena felt out there in that environment. So, you know, I feel for both of them. I think for Serena, you know, if she'd have got off to a better start in that match, probably none of that would have happened. But that's sport. That's what makes it so exciting, and that's where no script is ever written until it's all happening.
Okay, now I have to ask you a controversial question. There is a lot of talk about equal pay, and we know Australian Open achieved it. But given the quality of women's tennis over the last few years, do you think that is what should be achieved? That is what should be the order of the day?
You're loading him up, aren't you, Erika? Yes, I do. I mean, I'm a father of a daughter who loves sport. I would love her to have the same opportunities. The Grand Slam tournaments in particular are brilliant events, and men and women together create that atmosphere. So I have no issues with the women getting equal prize money at all.
Have to ask you a little bit about the doubles, tennis doubles as well. Why do you think that the Indians are better in tennis doubles than singles?
Well, like me. Well, obviously I had a long career. I played against Leander Paes and Mahesh Bhupathi when they played together. And Indian players are very traditional. They're a lot like Australian players, brought up on faster courts, grass courts, very creative, lots of what we call good hands, soft hands with feel, and that is what works well in doubles. They have that great eye to be able to create something in small spaces, and that's what I see with like a Leander. I played actually my last 6 months with Mahesh Bhupathi in my career, and that's how I see Indian sportsmen, in fact, men and women. They play with more feel as opposed to physicality, and I think, you know, you ask when's the next singles player going to come on. I think it's in the mindset where you have to change, where the game has become more physical, and to get those players there, they have to be fitter, stronger. And that's the same for players coming from Australia.
You see, there is a lot of talk around the Bryan brothers, and will they end up being the greatest? Will they go past all the records set by the Woodies? What do you think?
Well, they've done that by a long shot. I finished playing at 34. They're about to turn 40 soon. I wish I'd have played longer. I could have tested that. Maybe I could have kept the records going, but I just tip my hat to them, because when I finished my career, I broke all the records. I held just about every record there was to own, and they've now completed most of the ones that I had. So, you know, that's what records are for somebody to see a limit and challenge it and see if they can pass it. You know, and I think tennis, in particular the doubles part of tennis, has been lucky to have the Bryan brothers around, because they've kept it at the forefront. And for a period of time in America, they were the best. They were the most important, and best things happening in men's tennis. So, you know, they came at the right time, and you know, they've done very well. And as I said, tip my hat to them.
One final question: what do you like about India? I know you partnered Mahesh Bhupathi, and you have come here on a purpose. But what is it about India that you like?
Well, the thing I've loved about playing tennis is the opportunity to travel the world and see new cultures. I'm a big food fan, so I don't eat a lot of Indian food at home, but to come here and taste it and be a part of that is what I really like about playing, about traveling. And if I go back to, I really enjoy the Indian people's love of sport. You know, because when I've played tennis here, they know their tennis. They are right into matches. I played Davis Cup back in 1993 in Chandigarh, and so it's that part about India that I really love. I love the culture. I love their sporting culture, and I love their food.
Thank you very much, and enjoy India.
Thank you.